Hank Goldberg, the Hammer, returns to the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Hammer?
I'm sorry that they didn't bring Pippa with her because I would have enjoyed that.
Now, Hank, would you touch a royal? Would you do that, Hank? You wouldn't do that. You know.
Only if I was asked and if it was Pippa.
Have you ever met a royal?
No, but I once saw the Queen Mother at Ascot, and I was there with some people, and people you know, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
We were there for the Ascot meet, and the Queen Mum came by on a golf cart with her little glass of gin to watch the horses being saddled, and that was as close as I ever got to royalty.
But did you provide her the gin?
No, but she openly had that glass in her hand.
Listen, Queen Mum does not get held to any open container laws, I'd imagine.
I don't think so. She was about 98 years old at the time.
What about a head of state? What's a head of state? Have you ever met a head of state, any dignitary? What's the biggest dignitary you've ever met, Hank Goldberg?
Well, Al Michaels and I were getting ready to go on the air when the vice president, Al Gore, came by and shook hands with us. Did
Al shake Gore's hand? Did he do that?
Yeah, he was forced to. What are you going to do? I don't think he was all that. He didn't smile.
Hank Goldberg, the Hammer, is here with us on the Rich Eisen Show. Last week you went 3-1. Hank, you rebounded. Yes, in fact, I was going to try to get a hold of John McGinley's number to see if I've made his life more difficult by telling him to buy Arizona. And now I would like to get a hold of him and tell him to sell. So you don't think Arizona against St. Louis looks good this week?
Not only that, but you would think that I've gotten the word around to sell the way the odds keep going up on them. You would think the game has already been played. The whole world is jumping on their opponent this week.
You mean the odds of the game occurring, right? In terms of it happening or not. That's the odds of
the odds on St. Louis winning.
I see what you're saying. But let's talk about the evens. The game that Hank Goldberg, starting with his really good games, is the Thursday night football game. Break it down for me, Hank. You're up and running with your really good games for week number 15.
Well, St. Louis has back-to-back shutouts. They had 7 sacks last week against Washington. The defensive line, since Howie Long's son came back, has been playing lights out. And, Arizona has given up 23 sacks in their last 5 games, and Drew Stanton has been under a constant pressure. And, by the way, Sean Hill's played well for St. Louis, and this is a tough spot for Arizona. They were life and death to win last week. And, they just don't have much of an offense. And St. Louis is playing very well. And so you can see how smug Jeff Fisher is right now.
Well, you like that coin toss, Trolling?
I loved it.
You did. I bet you did. So you go St. Louis in that really good game. Houston at Indianapolis. You think this is a really good game, huh, Hank?
Indianapolis is 0 for life. Houston is 0 for life in Indianapolis.
They are.
They've never won there. And Fitzpatrick had that great game a couple of weeks ago, but Andre Johnson is coming off concussion right now. I don't know if he's going to play or not. And Luck threw for 363 yards in the game they won at Houston. Last week he had an off week, but still came back and won. And Hilton caught 10 passes for 150 yards. And Luck has other guys he can throw to, and I don't think that Indianapolis will be a match for them.
Okay, so you take the Colts.
Houston will be a match for them.
Sure, well, both of them. They're not a match for Houston in that regard. So you take Indianapolis in that one. Now, this is a big one in San Diego, Hank. The Chargers need it in the worst way. They got Denver in there. You think they can come out with the win?
This is my upset pick because, San Diego didn't play that badly against New England last week. They stayed in the game for much of it, and Phillip Rivers played well. Gates is going to be tough for the Denver defense to handle. Peyton on the road, he's been in the 20s. Last year, they played 3 times, and Peyton was held in 20 points, the 20-point area 3 times. And Ryan Matthews should be back again this week for San Diego. Last week, Peyton had no touchdowns and 2 interceptions against Buffalo. and they were running the ball a lot. And I think that San Diego can hang in with them.
Wow, that would be a huge upset. And then your last, Hank the Hammer Goldberg's really good game of Week 15 is this Sunday night no-brainer, Dallas-Philly. Who takes this one, Hank?
Well, Philadelphia, before Seattle got a hold of them, was 10-0 at home, averaging 411 yards per game. But defensively, they have 41 sacks in their last 11 games. And I just don't think that Romo is looking all that strong. Even in the win against Chicago last week, I saw Greg Cosell on one of the shows talking about that. He goes over all those films.
Yeah.
And I think if they trust Sanchez, which they didn't against Seattle last week, in the first half he was like 4 for 9 for 28 yards. They've got to turn him loose and let him play. And I think the speed of Philadelphia will be too much for the Dallas defense.
So Hank Goldberg's really good games finishes up with a Philadelphia sweep of Dallas, which would put Dallas back down in the dumps and in a big, bad need of a big finish and some help to make the playoffs, essentially, with the Lions and Seahawks playing the way that they are. And if the Cowboys win that one, then it's Philadelphia in that spot at 9-5 and not having a tiebreak against Seattle. And
Seattle's looking awfully good right now.
I mean, this is a big game. You're taking a look at it right now, Hank Goldberg. I'll ask you this. Two teams are going to have to come out of the East, North, or West. Which one is left without a musical chair? So which of those three divisions will not send two teams to the playoffs in your estimation?
Well, I guess Detroit is a team that you have to keep an eye on. Certainly Green Bay. Green Bay can't afford to lose. Green Bay's got a tough game this week at Buffalo. Buffalo's defense is playing very well right now.
They did very well against Peyton last week.
Yep. Yeah. Their defense is strong. They have 48 sacks this year.
Well, if you're correct in your really good game pick that the Rams beat the Cardinals, and if you, as you point out, Ralph Wilson Stadium in December is no great shakes, although Lambeau Field people would say that the same thing about their place, and obviously they can play in cold weather, the Packers. Let's say the Packers lose that. Then Seattle beats San Francisco. Guess who's the 1 seed through 15 weeks? Your defending world champion, Seattle Seahawks.
I think Seattle is the team to beat right now, somehow.
Before I let you go, Hank, you got to tell me your really good story of the week involving Walt Michaels and Jimmy the Greek. Tell me about this one.
Well, I was reading in the New York Post, and there was a restaurant years ago called Dewey Wong's that was very popular. All the CBS guys used to eat there all the time. And Jimmy the Greek and I used to have dinner there every Friday night with Walt Michaels, who was coaching the Jets. And Walt would go all over all the games with Jimmy so he'd be better prepared for his Sunday appearance. And one night Dewey said, Jimmy, I'm organizing a junket, and we're going to Canton. And you should come with us. He says, you could come as my guest. It would be very historical, and you could really get something out of it. And Jimmy said, I've seen the Hall of Fame.
Hank, you're the best. You take care of yourself, okay?
Okay. By the way, Dewey reopened the restaurant on the Upper East Side.
Right.
Our Place China Chalet, it's called.
And then there was another Walt Michaels Dewey sighting the other a few years later, but it was AJ, right?
Yes,
Hank?
That's right.
Don't remind me.
And he pronounces it Dewey.
Thanks, Hank. Appreciate it.
All the best.
You bet.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.